Welcome to Bible Bites. I'm Pastor Dan. We are reading through the Bible one small bite at a time. In our last video, we finished up chapter 9, so we're beginning in chapter 10 today. Only going to read just 4 short verses. So let's bring it up on the screen there. And he, meaning Jesus, called to him his 12 disciples. We'll see that these 12 disciples are also called apostles. Jesus had many more than just 12 disciples. But these 12 had been specifically called to Jesus for a very specific purpose. And they were followers, but they were students of Jesus. They would eventually become the 12 who, after Jesus died, they became like leaders. And they would go all over the world to spread the good news of Jesus, the good news of God's kingdom. All of them, except for one. Well, one would betray Jesus, but all of them except for one would die for Jesus, for this good news. So, okay. So Jesus calls these 12 to him, these 12 men. And he says he gave them authority over unclean spirits to cast them out, to heal every disease and affliction. Wow, so they were giving authority to do exactly what Jesus did. To heal, to cast out unclean spirits. So they had a divine authority given to them by Jesus. And then Matthew, the writer of this gospel, lists the 12 apostles, whom Matthew is one of them. So he says the names of the 12 apostles are these. First, Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew, his brother, James, the son of Zebedee, and John, his brother. So 2 sets of brothers right here. And they're identified as brothers. And what we see too here is that James is called the son of Zebedee. The reason for that is because there was 2 James, two different people named James, and they were identified by whose son they were. Much like today we're identified by our last name. Well, they didn't do that. If they even, I don't even know that they had last names. They usually had titles, or they were identified by whose son they were. So, all right, so also we have Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas, and Matthew the tax collector. So there's Matthew the tax collector. Matthew the tax collector is the one that's actually writing this gospel, writing this biography of Jesus. We are reading his biography, so he lists himself here. Thomas, by the way, is often called Doubting Thomas, because he's one of the last to truly believe that Jesus had been resurrected. I believe he even said in the scriptures, like, I'm not going to believe until I see. So when Jesus appeared to him, then he did believe. But so then we have James, the son of Alphaeus. So that's the other James. Again, he's identified by whose son he is. And Thaddeus. Thaddeus also had another name, Judas. And why Matthew chose the name Thaddeus? Probably simply because there also was another Judas that was a disciple of Jesus. So we also have Simon the Zealot. A zealot was a Jewish sympathizer, or a Jew himself. In this case, Simon was a Jew, but he was very much against Roman rule and would cause trouble for the Romans whenever he could. So it was just interesting. Jesus has a zealot. This is a person that would take up arms, take up the sword, and fight if they needed to, if they felt it was warranted. So, now I'm sure Simon changed very much once Jesus called him, but he was known as a zealot. So, and then there's Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Jesus. Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him, and we'll get to that story actually, of what happened to Judas after he betrayed Jesus. But these are the 12. Jesus' 12 disciples, also called apostles, who would become leaders. missionaries. They're like the first missionaries who really went abroad all over the world. And hopefully that helps, especially because you see some of these names in other places, and it helps you to be able to connect who they are. All right, we'll pick up next time, and we'll see that Jesus actually sends out these 12. It talks about kind of a mission almost that Jesus sends them on. So we'll catch you in our next video. See you then.